We'll get started in just a
You know
minute or
what?
two, guys.
That would be an interesting Century 21 commercial.
What's that?
Do a couple of things for a commercial for a buyer and a commercial for a seller listing, where two guys just show up and one guy acts like Bill Gates. Just the facts, man. Just the facts.
Well, I'll tell you another story though about that. So years ago, I worked for a company called Bostitch, and Bostitch was owned by Stanley Tool, and so I was down in Fullerton, California for training, and one of the things that I sold was air guns to pallet manufacturers. And back then, we're talking, this is, gosh, 30 years ago now, and back then, salespeople, we wore ties and a white shirt. And so we go wheeling into this pallet manufacturer in our car, and we get out of the car, and half of the employees jumped the fence and headed out the other way because they thought that we were, because there's a lot of Hispanic workers down there, and we really pissed off the owner of the company, because he wasn't sure, it was either Mormons or NSA, right?
That's right. Mormons just get the door slammed in their face. Not very.
I can say that because of you, Pat. Right? I can say that because of you.
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll wait one more minute for a few more, and then we'll get started here. You guys staying cool in this hot weather? Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Mike, tell them what you're going to do today.
Yeah, so I actually have air conditioning being installed as we speak. In fact, I was telling Phil, it's kind of funny. Our house never had air conditioning. We've got a couple of big maple trees, so it never gets really hot. We're good till about 90, and then it gets kind of bad. And I have a friend who has a HVAC business, and we were having a Bible study at our house, and this particular guy, he and his wife are moving to Florida, and and so we had this conversation. I go, so you got any good deals on air conditioning units? And he goes, yeah, I can probably hook you up. So we go out and look at it, and he's looking at my furnace, and our house is 30 years old. He goes, this is the original furnace, you really need to replace that too. So anyway, it's happening today, and he called me yesterday. He goes, Mike, he said, I was planning on being there at 9 o'clock. Any chance I could come a little bit earlier because of the heat? And I go, like maybe 8 o'clock. I go, you can come earlier than that. And he goes, well, how about 7? So he was there, 7 o'clock this morning. But I'm such a hands-on person, and I'm very good with my hands, and so. I'm not used to someone else doing everything for me. Like, when you pay someone to do it, you just let them do it. I always kind of want to get in there and help them. And so, this morning I was like, well, hey, can I help you unload, your truck? No, I got it. Can I help you do this? No, I got it. I go, all right. Here's the garage door opener out of Phyllis's car. If you need to go someplace, lock up the house and call me when you're done, and that's so foreign to me, just, because I'm just not used to doing that, so anyway, it's just kind of a.
All right, guys, good. You guys stay safe and cool, and let's get started. Our guest speaker today is John. He's going to talk to us about house automation, and it has changed, and there are some really amazing things out there, and that's honestly part of something that we should know and put in our toolbox. So let's do real quick haves and wants, and let's make it short as possible so we can get John the time, and we can always just go a little bit over at the end. But I know some of us have appointments at 10, so you've got to leave. But haves and wants, anyone? Go, Pat, go.
We need more buyers and sellers.
Yeah. They're out there.
Anybody you don't want to work with, you just call me. I'll take care of it.
Hey, listen, that Friday email that you guys received last week from Debbie says it comes from me, but it had some really impressive and good numbers and there, and you need to internalize those and share those with your customers and clients as it was suggested, and start that dialogue and some questions. Somebody's going to say, hey, somebody at work just said they needed to move, and that gives us the opportunity to connect and help those folks. So let's go. John, welcome.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. I will share the screen with you right now so you can do your thing. And screen share has got some nice presentation for us. So here we go. As soon as he gets his little message from me. Morning, Craig. Good morning, Darren. Keep your eyes on the road, Darren.
Hi, John.
Hi. So my name is John Kelch. I'm with Bomashield Security. Bomasheild is a company I started about a year ago, just to give you a little bit of context. But I personally have a lot of experience with real estate. I was previously in the marketing and advertising business, and I really specialize working with real estate, actually. So I speak real estate. I understand a lot of the challenges and opportunities that you're faced with. So just it might help to know that I know where you're coming from. Yeah. So here's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you an overview of Bomashield. We're going to talk about smart home platform tiers, the market landscape, what we're seeing, as well as building a smart home foundation. We're going to look at some of the most popular devices that we see in the market right now. And then I'll show you an example of what a fully decked out smart home could look like. And then a special offer at the end. So what is Bomashield? Bomashield's a company I started to really integrate security and home automation. So we are a security company, but we really specialize in home automation. And I'll explain more about how those things work together. The industry right now, there's a lot of silos, and the purpose of our company is to tie smart home devices as well as security together, because they should work together. I've been involved with the industry since about 2012. So I've got a few years of experience now. We're an independent Alarm.com dealer. The reason I mention that is that Alarm.com is really a software company. So we use their software to run the back end of our technology. It's a really robust platform, and I'll get into that in a second. But before I go any further, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. This is a small group, so I can answer questions as we go, as well as at the end. One of the reasons that we chose Alarm.com as our technology partner was that they're trilingual. It works with Google, Amazon, and Apple, which we think is really important because there is no one dominant player in the market. There's a lot of different tech companies that are, coming out with technology and equipment and things. One other thing about our company is that we're locally owned and operated. So we're totally independent. We're not connected to any conglomerate, which gives us a lot more freedom. In particular, we don't lock people into long-term contracts, which I think most people at this point are sick of dealing with the Comcasts of the world and that kind of thing. Anyway, it's an advantage for us because we're month to month. We believe that if we offer good customer service, folks will come back. So far, our attrition rate has really shown that. So one other piece about us is we specialize in working with home builders and real estate professionals. Builders is a great market for us. We're actually now installing our equipment in all of the noise development properties out in Bethany. So from that, we've learned quite a bit about what home buyers are expecting. And these are, $700,000 to $1.2 million homes. So they're high-end buyers. We've learned a lot through that process. But I can talk a little bit more about what we do for noise, actually. That's a good example. I'm going to show you a quick video here of the technology that, this is the panel that we use that sort of combines security as well as home automation, and talks a little bit about some of the features.
Technology should be simple. Technology should be beautiful. This is the IQ panel. IQ panel is easy enough for anyone to use, no matter how old you are. It keeps you connected to the things that matter most to you, like your home and your family. Sending disarm photos to your smartphone so you'll know when they arrive. With Bluetooth touchless disarming, you can leave your phone in your pocket, and the IQ panel securely authenticates you, preparing your home for your arrival. The IQ panel controls your entire home with an intuitive, elegant touchscreen that looks great on the wall. It uses intelligent automation to make things easier when you are home, and you can customize the photo frame to show off your latest family adventure. And when you leave again, the IQ panel knows you're gone. And will lock your doors, arm your security system, close your garage door, adjust your thermostat, and turn off your lights, making your home secure and energy efficient. With LTE, a built-in router, panel camera, and more, the IQ panel is the most advanced, easy-to-use, security and smart home platform available. The Qualsys IQ panel. All in one, always connected, always innovating.
So this is the technology we use. Johnson Controls actually is the main investor in this company. So it's really robust platform, and we're happy to use it. I believe most of the D.R. Horton homes that are now produced come with this technology. So the scale has been pretty impressive. So wanted to talk a little bit about our ecosystem. So with Alarm.com, we work with most major manufacturers of smart home equipment. Some of the big ones I always like to point out are Sonos, LiftMaster for our garage doors, Lutron. There's a lot of, Rainbird is another one for automating sprinkler systems, that kind of thing. So it's a really robust system. There's about 6 million homes and 2 million businesses that use the software. So we've been really happy to be a partner with them. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the market landscape, and this is in regards to sort of what we've seen as the platform tiers. This business, this industry is always moving, so it's kind of hard to define it, but this is the best shot. For somebody who's just interested in using basic home automation features, they want to turn on a light switch, they want to potentially play music by speaking to their speaking to a wireless device, that kind of thing. You can actually get started for 25 bucks. So you can go to Amazon and buy an Amazon Echo, and you can buy a couple of Wi-Fi smart plugs. And using that, you can do things like say, Alexa, turn on my my lamp. And so for less than 50 bucks, you're in the game. And for a lot of folks, those platforms are a good place to start, but they do have their limitations. The next tier, I would say, is sort of where we fall into the space. And so with Alarm.com, we're a home automation platform. So pretty much any smart home device can be hooked up to our platform. And we offer local support. So if somebody has a problem, they get stuck, that's where we come in. Samsung SmartThings is another popular platform. The thing about SmartThings is that there's very little support. So if someone is a hardcore do-it-yourselfer, they can really build a robust platform. I've had one of these for years that I test and I play with and I do things with, and it's a decent platform. However, for a lot of folks, it's just it can be really complicated. You can do things like hook up your lights, your thermostat, cameras. You can have water sensing devices. You can have temperature sensing devices. So a lot of different things that you can do with both these platforms. But yeah, so for SmartThings, for a few $100, you can really build a decent, robust platform. But again, it's very do-it-yourselfer focused. on the high-end home automation systems, this is a very different landscape here. You could be looking at $10,000 up to $200,000. And this would be something you might find in like a 8,000 square foot home where they've got, many rooms, 8, 9, 10 rooms. They've got guard gates. They want all of their audio visual equipment to be sort of the most high end possible. They're great platforms. This isn't a place that a space that we play in, but we work with partners who do. And if you ever have somebody who's like truly ultra high end, we'd be happy to make a referral. So these are the smart home platforms that we see a lot of folks enter into the market with. So here are some of the pros and cons, just to give you some information. Alarm.com is great because it's got a cellular backup and backup batteries. So what that means is if the internet gets cut, power gets cut, the system is still up and running. With most of these other platforms, if the internet gets cut, power goes down, you're out of luck. Your system's down. So your lights may not work right. There could be a lot of challenges that come with that. Amazon Alexa is a decent platform. I've got a Sonos speaker in my living room that has Alexa on it. It actually integrates with Alarm.com for control, that kind of thing. The thing about Alexa, and as well as with Google, the question I always ask myself is, why are these companies doing this at very little cost? I think a lot of it comes back to data. They're collecting massive amounts of consumer data with their devices and with their technology. Most of that's fine. I'm not necessarily saying that they're doing anything nefarious, but those are open platforms. If a user wanted to set up routines and to cause things like their lights to turn on at specific times, Alexa can be good for that. However, it might be difficult for the average user to set that up. So something to keep in mind. Google and Alexa are very similar from my experience as far as what they're capable of for controlling smart home devices. One thing that's nice about Alexa is that the Ring platform does work with it really well because Amazon owns Ring. Ring also has some control for smart home devices. However, it's somewhat limited. We've already talked about, yeah.
When you were talking about Amazon, that it said behind me, I didn't recognize what you were saying. So continue.
Yeah, exactly. So like I was saying earlier, SmartThings is a really robust platform also. Really, you can do many things with it. The app can be a little difficult to set up, but you can do things like set up a routine so when so your front yard lights can turn on at sunset, no matter what time of year it is, based on the system actually knowing exactly when sunset is. I've had that set up in my house before in the past, and it's really nice. I never have to worry about the lights being left on in my front yard. Another thing that's possible with Samsung SmartThings as well as Alarm.com is you can set sensors on your garage so you can get notifications when you leave the house and perhaps forget to shut the garage door. That's big. We sell connected garage door systems all the time, almost every day. Because folks forget to leave the garage door, or they leave their garage door open rather, and then it bugs them all day. Those two platforms, both Alarm.com and Samsung SmartThings, can solve that.
How much is one of the garage things, John?
Yeah, so you can buy a retrofit kit for the garage door openers. They vary between probably $75 and $150. If you buy a new garage door opener today, there's a good chance it's going to have the Chamberlain MyQ Wi-Fi technology. It's hard to buy a dumb garage door opener anymore, but those are all capable of being connected to a lot of different devices. So,
cool.
Yeah. Apple HomeKit is great. What a lot of folks like is they can actually get notifications on their watch. The watch seems to be the big thing that is really a game changer. To be able to get notifications on what's going on in your home on your watch while you're in a meeting and you don't have to look at your phone, you can still be professional. That's a real advantage. So with a lot of our high-end home buyers that we see with like Nike and Intel executives, they love the Apple integration. It's like their favorite thing. So one of the things that we found is kind of interesting is that a lot of folks, when they want smart devices, but they've just got the basic cable router that came from Comcast or Frontier or CenturyLink or whoever, and a lot of times those routers can't really hack it. They just don't have the speed and the bandwidth to be able to do what we need them to do. So that's one thing we always have a discussion with customers. We always ask how strong their Wi-Fi signal is, because that impacts things like how well their cameras work, how well sensors work, all kinds of different devices that can have an impact on. We recommend at least 100 megabyte per second download upload speed. With CenturyLink, now you can get a 1 gig service for I think $65 a month. Which is a great deal. So we've had good experience with them. If you've got a lot of video games, you've got people watching multiple videos at the same time, that's where internet speed and strength of network is really something that needs to be looked at. We love the products from Ubiquiti. You can find them on Amazon. They're really rock solid. We found that they're in a lot of commercial applications, but they've got some consumer products that are really good. You could also buy like the Google Netgear Orbi or Euro systems from Costco, and those are pretty good. Those are mesh systems, so it's a different technology, but they work pretty well. So the most popular devices that we see, I would say number one is the door locks. For folks to be able to open and or lock and unlock their front door remotely is huge. To be able to give somebody a one-time code, if someone has a plumber coming by for a few hours, they're not going to be there, you can create a one-time code for somebody on the fly that expires as soon as they no longer need the code. Those are huge. With noise development, we actually, with all of their homes, we include one of these Z-Wave door locks, as well as one of the garage door openers. So we found these to be really popular. Smart thermostats is also great, especially for older homes that don't have very efficient systems. It gives users a little more control. New construction, we're finding that they're so efficient, they don't really need the smart thermostats, which is kind of interesting. Cameras, obviously really popular with the Ring doorbell, indoor, outdoor, a lot of options for cameras on the market right now. Sonos wireless speakers are really popular. These are some of the best sounding speakers on the market, but they're also, their app is fantastic. You can control speakers in 4 rooms at the same time and have different music playing in every room at the same time, different volumes, all wirelessly, without actually having to have anything plugged in besides just regular power. Smart light switches are also really popular. Most builders today are including a few smart light switches with every home they do. Users really like these. So this is like a full example of what a fully decked out home looks like. It could include a smart sprinkler system. These are available for a couple $100. Smart light switches that we talked about, smart thermostat. Water sensors are big, especially in older homes that may have leaky appliances or just old plumbing. You can set one of these sensors up so it will send you alerts if it detects water. Those sensors have probably saved more money than any other smart home device. because we all know how much damage water can do quickly. Garage doors, again, we talked about those. Smart door locks, the doorbells. Contact sensors. So these are just regular door window sensors that tell when a door window has been opened. We find that people like these for things like liquor cabinets, maybe office doors where you really don't want anybody else going into that room. With wireless contact sensors, you can place these anywhere in a home, and they're really inexpensive. They're $15 to $50 each, depending on which one. To really invest in a smart home, they typically require some sort of hub or security panel. For us, we use the IQ panel, which is both our hub and security panel that all these things integrate with, as well as our mobile apps from alarm.com. Motion sensors are also really popular for both security, but also for monitoring if there's movement in a home. We see these used where there's situations where there's elders in a home, and maybe someone wants to see if their parent is up and moving in the morning. This can give them those kinds of notifications. So that's my presentation. That's kind of a quick highlight of what we're seeing in the market. But I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
So I have a quick question. John,
Sure.
How you doing, John?
Good to see you, Craig.
Yeah, good to see you. So you can, if somebody needed security, whatever, set up in their house, you would go there and analyze it, and you charge a fee for that, or what do you do when you go to somebody? Maybe it's a 1970s house like mine.
Yeah, typically what we do is we do a walkthrough to get an idea of what's going on in the home. We don't charge for that. Ideally we'll get a sale out of it. So yeah, we don't charge for that, but we'll talk about some of the different options and some of the opportunities that we see to make the home smarter, safer, that kind of thing. We also, we do a fair bit of retrofit systems. A few weeks ago, we did a house in Lake Oswego that was a 3,000 square foot house, and the homeowner was renting it out, so there was nobody living in it for a few months. We added 20 window and door sensors throughout the home. It's kind of an interesting situation, but there were hardwired sensors that we actually took over. So we even have the ability to take over existing systems in some cases.
So retrofit means updating? What is that?
So some homes actually, when they were built 20, 30 years ago, they had hardwired sensors built into the doors and windows. Those typically all go to an alarm panel that's usually in the master bedroom closet or near the front door, that kind of thing. It's like a big, we call them cans. It's like a big metal box. So those sensors, we can actually take over those sensors.
Okay, that helps a lot.
I'll kind of say it not just to John, but to everybody. So I have purchased a bunch of smart switches and ring and everything, and actually setting those up are really, really easy. It's pretty amazing. And I'll give you a couple examples. So I just strung a bunch of lights in my backyard, and then actually purchased a smart, not even a smart switch, but it's basically a plug-in that plugs into the extension cord and then into my lights. And from my phone, I could right now in my office right now turn those lights off and on. And then my wife has a studio that's separate from the house, and so when it gets dark, she doesn't want to have to go clear out there to turn on the outside light to walk to it. So by putting two smart switches, then you tie the two smart switches together, and they will turn, you can turn them on and off. And then in the front of my house, again with the smart switches that are, not only tied to my phone, but I can actually set, so those are set up on timers to where they go off at 10:30 at night. They come on at, 6:30 or something like that. And so setting those up was, remarkably easy. The same thing with the Ring. I know when UPS is delivered at my front door because my Ring goes off and I can actually, sitting here in my office, see who it was and so forth. And speaking of that, because of all of this, I would just caution all of my agents. So when I'm showing property to clients, we always have the discussion about smart houses. And I will give you a horror story that happened to one of our agents here, and it happened on a listing of mine. And we had an open house, and this particular agent was, holding the house open, and the listing that I had a shake roof that was a really old shake roof. And so this particular agent, who is no longer with us, not because of this, but just other reasons, basically was standing out on the porch with this person on the open house, and they were discussing the roof. And our agent said, I don't know why anyone who lives in Oregon would put a shake roof on the front of their house. Well, my owner was sitting, at a coffee shop, paying attention to what was going on. And man, I got a earful from her about, the unprofessionalism of the agent. I eventually lost the listing before we got it sold. And that was one of the contributing factors. So I always caution my people, okay, we will discuss the house. You don't need to do the oohs and the ahs and all of that till we get, and right now, John, and you can probably even address this, is, a lot of it's not like you can walk into a room and automatically see that there's a camera there, or, into the entryway and so forth. The technology now is, so small and minuscule that you just don't know what might be there. So.
Yeah, you can buy these little cameras at Home Depot. They're called Wyze cameras, WYZE, like $25, and they look like little boxes. And if they're really popular, there's some security issues they've had. They got hacked and a bunch of that's a whole nother conversation. But those you could place those on a shelf and a teddy bear, that kind of thing, and you would never see they're there. So that's a good point.
John, talk about though the security part of that. For instance, I feel, and I had 5 Lexus in my house, and I took them all out because I felt uncomfortable with it. When, first of all, I live on Alexa Court, and so even if I was on the phone giving someone my address, Alexa would go, would pipe up, and that it so freaked me out. And so I actually, it's just a personal thing. I just went away from having the Alexa in there. But what about having these, smart devices? Because they're all, even my remote switches, they're hooked up. Excuse me. I know it's not COVID. Anyway, they're hooked up to, they're not hooked up to Wi-Fi, they're hooked up to my router. And so, are there security issues by having all of these systems all tied together?
Yes. Yeah, there are definitely security issues. Frankly, one of the reasons that we decided to partner with Alarm.com is their servers are all based in the US. They don't sell data to Amazon, Google, or anybody else. So it's totally a secure platform. But yeah, the company I mentioned earlier, Wyze, it was a few months ago. I think their entire email database got hacked because they didn't have the right protocol in place. So we're talking about millions of email addresses just tossed out into the ether. So yeah, it's a concern. I'm personally okay with the Alexa. You can actually go in and look at the history in Alexa and see what they've recorded. You can do it within the app. It's fairly easy. If you have one, do that sometime. It's kind of interesting to see what happens. You'll notice that it does actually record a lot more than you might think. So.
Well, and there's also a new TV show coming out that's talking about the vulnerabilities of some of these things. And I don't think it's going to endear those makers of those products. Because it's going to show the weaknesses of it. I think it's needed because they're a security threat unto themselves.
Definitely, yeah. There was also some controversy with Ring recently, where Ring has a really close partnership with a lot of the police departments and sheriff's departments, and there were some data concerns that some folks had. So there's all of these companies have struggled with this in one way or another.
Just don't buy a Ring if you're going to sell dope. I'll just say that and leave it at that.
That's from a 40-year police officer history there, I think.
He's older than 40. Well, 40 years on the force. Okay, just making sure.
Oh, any other questions?
I would like to know how to get this information to my son-in-law who's over in Afghanistan for a couple months. Is there a link or something that I can send him? They're going to be building a house up in Camas, Washington, and he likes this stuff. They have some of it in their home now, but I can see him wanting that throughout his house. He's yeah, because that way he can keep an eye on what's going on from Afghanistan.
Sure.
How do
if you go to our website, it's just bomasheild.com. All of our contact info is on there. If you send me an email, just jon@bomasheild.com, I'll send you some information. I've got some ideas for homes under construction that aren't necessarily any of the things we've talked about here. I've got cameras available that have their own cellular connection. So in a construction situation, they can actually send video and pictures without even needing internet. So they're really helpful in situations where somebody's building a house.
Okay, thanks.
Good presentation, John.
Thank you.
Yes, John, thank you so much. Any other questions, folks? All right, very good. Any other haves and wants or any other things that you want to discuss? We've got a little bit of time. Are you ready to go tackle this day and win?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
John mentioned that there was some sort of special offer at the end. So I was curious when that was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyone who signs up with us through September 1st will include a free video doorbell. Those are $150 to $200. So if you sign up with us, you get a free video doorbell.
Cool.
Do you have the ability to kind of give us a range? Seems like things are very much customizable. Do you have like a little bit of a range of cost for, typical size houses with 3-bedroom, 2-bath that is typically valued around $400,000, $450,000? You have kind of a decent range of what that would entail. Somebody were to get some very typical services, or what are you finding people are getting, and what does it cost? That's right, better.
So for a basic situation with an alarm, home automation panel, a few sensors, that's going to be in the $400 to $600 range. And then our
like
pricing,
a one-time deal.
Yeah, that's a one-time deal. And then our pricing varies from $25 to $50 a month.
For ongoing. Okay.
Yeah. One big thing just to note about our pricing, what you'll find with a lot of the big companies is they'll charge like a $100 fee for install. So there's no upfront equipment costs, but they're typically going to lock people into 3, 4, 5-year contracts at $50, $60 a month. So our business model is a little bit more expensive on the front end. However, it's month to month, and there's lots of dealers who use our equipment. So if somebody doesn't like us, they can leave if they want to. That's why we care about good customer service.
And
so
as far as because it's a lot of it is software heavy, as software upgrades and updates, are those updates and upgrades come with your service without any added cost, or is there added cost?
Yeah, no, alarm.com is always innovating their software. I get release notes every day, it seems like, where they're adding new vendors and things. And no, there's no charge for them making the software better.
Quick question for you, Aaron. If somebody has maybe they're on a $25 per month, month to month with you, and they sell the house,
Mhm.
how do the buyers, can the buyers just pick up that contract with the hardware that's already there?
Yeah, if they want to. When we work with like Noise, we monitor the home while it's under construction, and then when the home closes, we have a way of offering it to the home buyer. It's a really smooth process. I do it about 3 or 4 times a week lately. So
Great. Good questions. Thank you. Anything else? All right, you guys, make it a great day. And contact us if we can help you with anything, okay?
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right, take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you, John. Bye, team.
Bye, team.